It's handheld if you hold it in your hand. The question is, how much cord do we have? That's all. Hi.
Hi, Vic.
Hello. It's my daughter. Can start with my counselor.
It'll be about like 2:15. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Maka. You guys, first of all, first things first. Please tell me you're all ready to get Star Trek Continues tonight.
Yeah.
You're not cheering. I'm watching. I'm looking. We got surveillance cameras taking photos of everyone who did not just cheer. You guys, let me tell you real quick. I stood here last year, I think, and told you guys about this. And I am true to my word. In January, how many of you guys have seen any of the vignettes that we put online? Yeah? In January, we shot a full-length episode of a new web series called Star Trek Continues, and it picks up exactly where the original series left off. I mean, like, to the minute that the original series ended. We've got an amazing cast of people. We've completely rebuilt the entire soundstage. I'm not talking about, wait. I'm talking about, we have it all. We've spent the last year rebuilding everything to meticulous detail. And I mean, I'm talking the big bending corridor, and the briefing room, and the sick bay, and the transporter room, and the captain's quarters, and on it goes. And they're all laid out exactly the way they were in the original series, all interconnected. And in January, we shot our first premiere episode. People that you even know probably are in the series. If you're anime fans, you probably know who Todd Habercorn is. Okay, that's enough of that. I just tease him, but from now on, he will be known as Todd Habercorn. Or you can call him what I call him, Spocko. Because Todd is playing Mr. Spock in the series. And Mythbusters fans here? Grant Imahara from Mythbusters is playing Sulu. And guess what? He's here tonight. He's here tonight for the premiere. Any hardcore Star Trek fans here who can tell me who played Scotty in the original series of Star Trek? Jimmy Doohan. James Doohan was the man's name who played Scotty. The Scotty. Not a Scotty, the Scotty. Okay? Guess who's playing Scotty in our series? His son, Chris Doohan, is playing his father's role. It's off the charts, you guys. When I was a little boy, I dressed up as Captain Kirk and went to Star Trek conventions. I was 95 pounds, little scrawny Victor, Mignonga, in his little homemade Star Trek uniform. And now I'm getting to fulfill a childhood dream of playing Captain Kirk. So, we have a challenge this evening. Phoenix Comicon was nice enough to put us in a 4,000-seat auditorium with 4 giant screens and big sound. Ironically, this is where I had the privilege to introduce Bill Shatner last year. And now we're in the room premiering our first episode, and I am calling upon you and begging you to come help us fill that room. Okay? Can you do that? You'll enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like, almost the entire cast and crew are here for the premiere. And right after, it'll go online live at midnight tonight. So you'll be able to see it. I have a lovely moderator here. But can I say a couple more things?
Of course. It's your panel.
Oh, that's right.
Can I talk?
I have something else I need to tell you guys about. I brought something this year that I have not had before, and I need to let you guys know about it. I'll have it at my table all weekend. A lot of you guys know about my music work, Maybe you've got some of my CDs, or you know that I sing the theme songs to many shows. Well, last May, I did a big concert, a live concert at a big convention in Houston, Texas. And they had like HD cameras and intelligent lighting and fog machines and a jib cam that went over the crowd. And so we decided to make a live concert video. It looks so good, you guys, and it's so fun. It's beautiful, sounds beautiful, and here's the most exciting part. How many of you remember something that I made years ago called Fullmetal Fantasy? Now, for those of you who don't know what this is, just imagine this. The voice actors from Fullmetal Alchemist cosplaying as their characters. That's pretty much all I need to say right there. And I know you're thinking, how could you possibly play Ed? You're so tall. I did it on my knees. Hey, come on, this way. I'm down here. Okay. Back on point, Vic. Back on point. We made, several years ago, you guys, me and some of the other voice actors, we were so in love with Fullmetal that we decided we wanted to make a live action, like little parody film. And so we made this thing, and those of you who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's fun, it looks great, it's really a neat little thing. But I never had it online. No one's ever been able to get it. The only place you've ever been able to see it is if I showed it at a convention. And then it would be on the screen, and then it would be gone. Well, when I do concerts, as some of you may or may not know, if you've been to my concerts, for one thing, there's one achievement. That's right. And in my concerts, I show Fullmetal Fantasy. So on this concert DVD, I've decided to include Fullmetal Fantasy. So it's on the concert DVD, a lot of other great videos. I even threw some little extra bonus videos on the end of it. Like, I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you, but why the heck not, right? Years and years ago, before some of you were born, I was a male vocalist challenger on Star Search, which for you younger kids was the grandpa to American Idol. It was kind of the predecessor to American Idol. And I was a male vocalist challenger, and I was on national television, and I got a hold of that video and buried it. Because it was like, you know, Vic with his mullet, and a purple double-breasted suit, and a bolo tie. Hey, this is 1993, come on, you're right. 1993. How many of you were born in 1993? Ow, that hurt! Put your hands down! So I decided, I was so embarrassed about this, but then I thought, you know what, Vic? Face your fears. Just put it out there. So I was looking for some fun bonus videos to put on the concert DVD, and I put my Star Search appearance from 1993 on the DVD. I'll have it at the autograph tables all weekend long, and I'd love you guys to have it. I brought plenty for you. Love to sign it for you. It's great music. It looks really fun. Everybody had a great time, and there are a lot of great videos on the DVD. So, is there anything else? Star Trek continues. DVD. I love you. You guys, this is my favorite. Don't tell any other convention. This is my favorite. I love Phoenix Comicon so much. I'm serious. I'm serious. Hard to Maka. I just always hope that they bring me back because kind of you guys are kind of like family. Okay, I love you, and I want you to keep your eyes open for the panels through the weekend. I think I have another one tomorrow, and so I will look forward to seeing you there as well. And after this, come on down to the table, and I'll be down there signing. And guess who's sitting beside me, and guess who's coming to the premiere tonight? Michelle Nichols. Who played Uhura in the original series of Star Trek. She's like, hi, baby. And I was like, oh, Michelle, you looking fine. And I started kissing her and caressing her face. I'm working it. You do what you gotta do. So I told her about tonight, and the girl that plays Uhura in our episode has never met Michelle Nichols before. And she grew up, idolizing Michelle Nichols. So my plan is that our dear Kim Singer, who plays Uhura, and Michelle Nichols will sit beside each other tonight. And watch the episode together. No, if only I could get Bill Shatner here. Bill, sit here. Can't sit there. Hold on. Messages, hold on. My whole, all the production crew and everybody are kind of coordinating here. Blah, 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 blah.
While you're doing that, make a real quick announcement.
Oh, go ahead.
If anyone has an empty seat next to them, raise your hand. We cannot have people standing in the back. So, the four of you, find someone who has a hand up. Over here. Alright, there's a couple over there. Just so you know. Thank you guys very much. Are we having fun yet? Yeah! So, when we get to the questions and answers portion of this lovely panel.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we're going to have the... If you guys want to line up the questions.
Let's do this.
Right where they're going, right?
Vic! What? I made you something and a light. I made you a charm. It's a protection charm and a letter. If you could read the letter out loud for everyone.
Oh, I can.
It's short.
Let me take one. Oh, wow. That's,
Hey, want to see a hot girl in a Star Trek uniform? Look here. This is, you know what? Take a look at this beautiful face. She's one of the extras in our episode tonight. And she's got some cards here advertising the thing this evening with the room, the time she's going to pass them out, okay? So grab them from her and give them to her. Her name's Haley, and she's awesome. Oh, hey, and there's her beautiful sister. She's in the show, too. So, Megan, say hi to everybody. And you guys grab one from her so you know where to go tonight at 6 p.m. Hi. What is your question?
If you could become any character you voice for a day, what would you do first?
I want to be Tamaki for life. I don't want to be Tamaki for just a day because then it would hurt too much to give him up. I want to be Tamaki forever. Hi.
Less serious question. Kind of serious question. What was your thoughts on Into Darkness and that whole...
Next question. You know what? I will tell you. And I'm going to be very diplomatic and helpful. First of all, let me preface it by saying I am a hardcore original series fan, right? So that's kind of sacred to me. This is what I will tell you. I got to actually see it at a private screening with Rod Roddenberry, who is Gene Roddenberry's son, who created Star Trek. Michelle was actually there as well, and we saw it at the ArcLight in LA. Here's my feeling about it. It was a great film. A lot of fun. It wasn't Star Trek, but it was a lot of fun. It was a great time. The first half of it, I really kind of started liking the characters, and I started getting into it. And then the second half, I was like, oh, come on, really? It just became kind of this rip-off of Wrath of Khan.
They needed you.
Oh, oh my God, right you. I mean, you know, for $200 million, can't you come up with an original idea? You know, you know, for me, I love what it's doing for Star Trek. I love that it's introducing a whole new generation. It's basically rebooting this franchise with all new people, with all new fans, and I love that. I do. And I enjoyed the film for what it was, but there's something about the original series. I can't even quite qualify it. But there was such a great relationship between the characters. And they told stories, you guys. They didn't need special effects. They didn't even need to have crazy, wild action sequences and huge special effects and blowing up stuff. You just cared about the people. And they told topical stories about social issues and ethical dilemmas and moral questions. That's timeless. And that's what we want to do with Star Trek Continues, actually. And so I enjoyed the film for what it was, but for me, it still seems to be missing a little bit of the, of that, whatever you want to call it, that soul, that gut that the original series had so much of. And I hope we can accomplish that in our series, because that's what we loved so much. The original series of Star Trek never won an award for special effects, that's for sure. And it didn't win an award for, lighting or costumes. It won an award for story. And that's what we love about the original series. So, it was so much action, which is, you know what, I'm going to challenge you guys with something real quick. You know what somebody told me they saw our episode, and they said, we were talking about the original series versus like the new movies. And you know what they said? They said to me, Vic, I don't think people nowadays would enjoy the original series because it takes too much concentration. Because people's attention spans are this long now, and it's all about action, keep it moving, keep it, all kinds of eye candy and visuals to keep people into it. And their position was that that's why they made Star Trek the way they made the new movie, because that's what the audiences want. And maybe that's true, and maybe it's not.
I like the older shows because of that.
I love you, and that's why I love them, because you can sit and just take it in and take in the story and the character relationships, and you'll see a lot of that tonight when you come to the premiere. So I'm not Googling the movie. I want to make sure. I'm not putting it down. For what it was meant to be, it does what it was meant to do. But to me, there's something very special and magical about the original series that isn't yet been captured. Is that fair to say? Okay. Hi. Maka.
Hi.
Stay away from soul. Or soul. Is there a soul in here?
I'm gonna be her soul.
You are?
As a voice actor, what was the most fun character for you to play? Or voice?
I used to tell everybody that I could never pick a favorite character because I loved all of them, and that's true. But I will tell you, oh hi. I know, right? Just my people trying to ask me, where are you? Anyway, sorry. You know what? I used to have a hard time answering that question because I love all the characters that I've gone through. But then after I finished Brotherhood, I came face to face with the fact that in all likelihood I would not be playing Edward Elric again. I mean, unless they make more, there isn't any more, And so it really kind of made me sad, and I thought, I love this character so much, and I played him for a long time. I love him. And so I would have to say Ed was probably the favorite thing I've ever done. But I will tell you, a very close second place is Tamaki. Oh, she landed. Okay. No, my sweet girl Michelle. She's going to be here tonight, but you do not have to meet my lovely girl, you get to meet her tonight, and she plays a new character that we've introduced in the episode. There's so many good things. Who knows who Marina Sirtis is? She played Counselor Troy in Star Trek Next Generation. She's the voice of our ship's computer. Yes, question. You look amazingly handsome. I'm quite attracted to you. I love how you wear your little daughter around your neck.
Thanks to his crotch.
What was it like to be Spirit? Maka, maka, maka.
Oh my God. You know what's funny? You guys, this always happens to me. I'll go into a series and I'll audition for like all the big roles, and I like a lot of times won't get to play like more main characters. Like for Soul Eater, I went in, I auditioned for Soul, I auditioned for Death Kid, you know what I mean? And I thought I did okay, but I didn't get him. And then the director calls me and goes, "You're going to be playing this guy." And I'm like, okay. But then it never fails. The character that I end up playing ends up being so much fun and crazy and wacky and has so many great moments that he's actually more fun, probably, than maybe even some of the main characters. It's happened to me over and over again. It happened in Fullmetal Panic with Kurt Weber. It happened with like Junpei in Persona 3. It happens a lot, and I, you know, even with Broly, you know. He's not one of the main characters, but he's the best.
Yeah!
Yes. Question.
My question is, I met Caitlin earlier today, and
Oh, yeah?
she signed my hat. I just want to know what your comment to this in your voice, please.
What did Caitlin write?
What's it say?
It says, "Edward, if you lose, I'm going to kick your ass." And I'm going to write, "Oh."
Tell us what it says.
I should put the hat over.
And I wrote, "It's not nice to swear, Winry." I'm telling Auntie Pinocchio. Yes, my dear.
I actually made you something.
What?
It's a bracelet and it says Ulrich.
Oh, sweet, thank you.
Aww.
And voodoo beads.
So does the phrase feline martial arts ring a bell with you?
It should, shouldn't it?
Yes, because so the last time
Yes, somebody told me to say that.
I don't know, because not at the panel I was at, but so the last time I saw you, I was playing a video game, Star Ocean, and I got this additional character, and I was like, this voice sounds eerily familiar. And then I looked it up, and it was you. And yeah, one of the characters, he asked them to teach him feline martial arts.
You know what's funny? I think at a convention, one of the last 4 or 5 conventions I've been at, somebody came up and said to me, "Will you say something for me?" And they got their video camera. I'm like, "What would you like me to say?" They said, "Would you say feline martial arts?" And I looked at him like, "You're weird." I didn't even know what it meant. And now I realized I actually said it in a video game, right?
Keep it sexy and meow.
Now you gotta say it.
You know what the good thing is about being old? You forget stuff that you did.
You gotta say it,
I don't get into to peer pressure. Okay, yes I do. Keep it sexy. I'm sorry, Lord. No, I did not wish to do that.
What is the weirdest thing you've
Skirt line anymore.
That is a panel all itself, right there. You know, you guys that have searched around on the internet a little bit, probably seen one of the weirdest things that has enduring weirdness. You know, it has lasting weirdness. Is the licking of the hand. That's a tough one to beat. That's not a challenge. Don't some of you boys in the room, and I know you boys, don't you be so desperate for some attention that you go home tonight and think, what can I get Vic to do tomorrow? That is creepier than licking a hand. Don't do it. You don't want that kind of popularity, I promise. That was a weird one. And then, what? Yeah, a lock of hair. Somebody put a lock of hair in an envelope. I don't know what they thought I was supposed to do with it. Yeah. I'll do it right here. Well, welcome to the library. So there have been a lot of weird things that have happened. A lot of kind of creepy things. But you know what? Can I just tell you guys? There are other voice actors who are like, oh, so creepy. You know, get me out of here. You know? But maybe it's because I was such a big fan of like Star Trek and Star Wars when I was a little boy, and I would go to conventions and I would dress up. Maybe because of that, I don't find it that creepy. And you know why? It's because I know where it's coming from. You know what I mean? It comes from a good place. You know, nobody means to be a creep, right? Nobody wants to be creepy or weird, or give some voice actor or some actor, make them, weird out and creep out and call security. Nobody wants to be that. They just get excited, right? And so they don't bother me that much. So. Hi, Rachel.
I'd like to know, as a singer and as a voice actor, if there are any like vocal warm-ups that you use like regularly or before recording or before singing?
I'm the worst person in the world, Rachel. Whenever we would record Fullmetal, we would often record all day long. So we would start at like 10 in the morning and record up until like 1, and go to lunch from 1 to 2, and then record from like 2 to 6, right? That's a lot of talking. It's a lot of egg word. And I found that in the morning at 10 o'clock, I didn't feel like I sounded too good. It really wasn't anything that I could do warm-up-wise. It was just in the morning your voice just feels a little, I don't know. But by noon, it had warmed up and become more clear, and then I could do more with it. I had more flexibility with it. I will tell you, water is the magic potion. Water, water, water. Drink water all the time if you care about your voice. Keep your voice nice and lubricated and moisturized, and try not to yell too much. In other words, don't audition for Dragon Ball Z. A lot of people sing and talk in the morning, like when they're on their way to a recording session, and they talk or sing. I'll get in the shower, and I'll turn it up as hot as I can stand it, and I'll open up my mouth real big, my throat, and take in that warm vapor, and help kind of clear it out for the day. But water's really very important. Thanks, Rachel.
I'm required to say this about my friend in New York. She loves you. Anyway, my question. Apparently, Funimation voice actors are getting into kids shows. Was it fun voicing an Italian pencil?
I love you for even saying that. there's a children's educational company that makes videos for kids. In fact, if any of you have young kids, this would be perfect. It's called Rock and Learn. And I did a series of videos teaching kids to do different things, like count money, math, and English skills, and different things like that. I play this pencil who takes the kids on their exciting adventure. But he's an Italian pencil named Marco the pencil. It's kind of fun. So, thank you for even mentioning that. I love that you did. Speaking of kid shows, oh my gosh, I am so excited to be playing Keldio in the new Pokemon movie. I kind of nerded out a little bit when I got cast to play that character because he's so adorable, and he was so much fun to do. And Pokemon, Pokemon, that's like Pokemon, right? Yeah, that's been around for a long time. In fact, probably one could argue that Pokemon could have a great deal to do with popularizing anime.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Beyblades, things like that that get into the mainstream television. And people go, I don't know what this is, but I love it. This doesn't look like Scooby-Doo. I love it. And it doesn't sound like Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour. I like it. And it makes them curious about more anime. So it was really a pleasure and a privilege to be a part of Pokemon. Hi. Sorry? A preview of Keldio? No! No, you have to go see it, and then I'll do it in your ear. Oh, get your minds out of the gutter. Yes, please.
So, my question is, what is your favorite line from Ouron High School?
Oh my gosh. Every word out of Tamaki's mouth is gold. I love him so much, you guys. I love him. He's such a great character. I mean, the one that I say so often it has become kind of a favorite. I already did it 4 times this morning. Down at the autograph session where somebody came up and we made a little video of them saying, I don't know if I should drink this coffee in my house. And I get up really close and risk some sort of legal restraining order. Or risk making a father very angry at me. And I get up very close and I say, but what if I let you drink it? For my mom. Dad's in the room. It's all harmless, I promise. I promise. It's innocent, harmless fun. And literally, years ago, can I tell you a funny story? Years ago, I got an email from somebody who said, you're a pervert. No, it was serious, and it was full of expletives. And they're like, I've been on the internet, and I see you hugging all these kids. You're a pervert. And I wrote them back, and I'm like, sorry that you feel that way. They all asked me to. And it was in public, with everybody there, cameras rolling, it was all innocent, completely innocent. In fact, I'm old enough to be the father of most of you. I'm probably old enough to be the father of your father. So, maybe it's possible. Hi.
Hi, I actually have a present for you.
What is it? Ooh. That's cool. Did you make it or something?
Yeah, I found him in my backyard.
Did you really?
Yes.
She found this spider in her backyard and she suspended him. That's cool. You know what it looks like? It looks like a button on the bridge of the Enterprise. It looks like a button on the bridge, right? I should take it to the sets and glue it to the bridge. And then Lieutenant Uhura will sit down to open a hailing frequency and she'll go, ah! Captain, there's a strange alien creature on the console. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Hi.
What's your favorite line from Fullmetal Alchemist?
Oh my gosh. You know what's your name today?
Nolia.
Oh yeah, hi. That's right. Hi, sweetie. I love her name. I remember her full name. You know what, Nolia? The hard thing about picking one line from a character that talks so much is that he ends up saying a lot of good lines. So it becomes very difficult to pick just one. I used to love, from the original series, I used to really love the scene at the end, the monologue at the end of the very Chopper episode.
Oh.
And I love that. Oh my gosh. That was the first time that I actually got really overwhelmed and welled up with tears myself, and found that I was really much more invested in this character than I thought I was. But then Brotherhood came along. And there were a lot of great lines there, but you know, the one, of course, the one that sticks out to me is like the last thing that it says, where he's on the train, and he says there's no such thing as equivalent exchange, it doesn't exist, and sacrifices must be made. You can't gain anything without sacrificing something first, but if you can endure that pain and rise above it, you'll find that you have a heart strong enough to overcome any obstacle. Yeah, a heart made full metal. I love that. I love that a lot. And you know why? Because I knew, Millie, that it was the last line I was going to say. You know what I mean? We got to that last page, and I was like, and the director's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." All right, we're recording. Vic, are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, we're recording. Because I didn't want it to be over, you know? And so, you know what I did? I took my phone and I sat it on the window ledge and recorded myself doing the last line in the studio. It's on YouTube, actually. So you can see me doing that last line. But I wanted to kind of capture the moment because, you know, that was, you know, a probability at the end of it. So there are a lot of great lines though, and it'd be hard to pick just one. Hi.
Okay, if you met Tamaki in real life, what would you say to him?
Teach me your secret! I love him so much. You know, people are like, oh, he's Tamaki. He thinks he's so beautiful. He is beautiful. First of all. And second of all, he genuinely believes his own stuff. And he just talks that way. But you know what I love about Tamaki? I love how he's so flamboyant at the beginning of the series. And then as you get further in and deeper into the story, and you find out that like his grandmother hates him, and he has no family that really cares much about him. And then you realize he didn't make the host club to make out with girls. He made the host club to have a family. Mori and Honey and Hikaru and Karu and Keldio and Haruhi, that's his family. And I love that. I love that character. I'm telling you, somebody needs to make more of that anime. Right, you know that. The manga continues. And from what I understand, from what I understand, it's really good. The manga's really fun. Like they go to college or something, and Haruhi goes to Harvard, and Tamaki can't bear to have the host club broken up, so he makes them all move to Harvard. I tell you, dang it, if I could draw, I would draw that myself. But I'm hoping, you know what, and I'll tell you something else, guys. Ouron is a lot more popular in the States than it is in Japan. Isn't that weird? It's not as popular in Japan as it is here, but I would love to think that somebody in Japan is watching the numbers of how popular that show is in English-speaking countries, and they say to themselves, we should more of this. I would love it. And I know everybody moron would love to do it. Hey!
So a lot of what you say goes on through the years. And the one I'm thinking of is the miniskirt line. I'm not supposed to say it. My question is, how do you feel about the fact that you can say something and it just won't die as much as you want it to? Oh, and also to mention, someone got Jerry Joel to say it this morning.
Oh, Jerry. Hasn't he learned? Oh. You know, in answer to your question, it's thoroughly terrifying. To think that you could make something up off the top of your head and then be reminded of it for 10 years. But I'll tell you something else. At the same time, it's an incredible privilege. Because at my age, I find myself really wanting to have a positive impact on people. I really want to have a positive influence on you guys. I want to be a light. I want to be a bright, a good spot. I want to be a good voice into your lives in whatever way that's possible. And well, thank you. And you know what? I told somebody, I was at a convention 2 weeks ago in Ottawa, Canada, and I told them something that I think is relevant to this. I hope you don't mind, but I told them that I always tease Capricorn because I'm kind of jealous of the fact that he has gotten the success that he has gotten in our field, and he's only 29 years old. You know what I mean? That's like half my age almost. I mean, it's crazy. And I think, wow, I'm so jealous, that he has all these cool things that I mean, we both get to experience them, but he's starting so much younger than I am or was when I started. And, but I was thinking about it. You know what I thought, you guys? I had a really interesting thought. If I had received the kind of attention and the kind of popularity that I've received now, when I was 25 years old, I'd be the biggest dick on the planet. Can I say that? I would be a jerk. I would think it's all about me. I would, you know what I mean? It would be a huge ego fest. Because that's the way it is when you're trying something, You're trying to establish yourself and make a name for yourself. But God has a very interesting sense of humor. He didn't let that happen to me when I was 25. Probably because he knew that I would think it was all me. And now that I'm 50, I can't believe I just said that out loud. My perspective is completely different.
You look 35.
God bless your ministry. My perspective, and parents, I think parents in the room, you understand what I'm talking about. My perspective is completely different now. I want to share things and impart things that will make a positive impact on people. I have thousands upon thousands of emails from fans. I get them daily. And you know what? While there are plenty that say, I love Edward Elric, while there are plenty that say, I listen to all the shows you're in, I really enjoy your work, there are also tons that say, my parents just got a divorce, and I'm trying to, push through it, or my uncle beats me, or I get bullied at school, or I lost my father in a car accident, and it was Fullmetal that got me through it. And I suddenly realized that there are a lot of people out there that are at very pivotal places in their lives. And just the right word at just the right time can make all the difference in their lives. And I want to be able to be that and do that. So if I've been given an opportunity to say things that end up resonating and lasting, I hope and pray that I'm able to say a lot of things to you guys. Good things, positive things, encouraging things, strengthening things that will resonate with you for many, many years to come. That's my hope.
Hi, my name is Jacob, and first I want to say that Fullmetal Alchemist was the first watched animation.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. And my question is, how did you get into voice acting?
I'm glad you asked, because I'm sure there are probably 25 people that want to ask that question. And so it's really good to answer it for everyone. I got into it quite by accident, you guys. I've said this before, and I'm not going to turn this into a church service, so don't get scared. But I'm always very, very quick to give God all the credit.
Amen.
Because I didn't do it, you guys. I didn't do it. You know what? There are guys out there that send out demos and knock on doors and pass out resumes and audition, and beat the pavement and just try so hard and never get an opportunity. I was working in video and film production in Houston, Texas. And a guy I was working with said to me, "Hey, you got a lot of acting experience, don't you?" "Yeah. Been acting on stage and stuff since I was very little." And he said, "You ought to go and audition for this place here in Houston. They're called ATV Films. And they buy these Japanese shows and they dub them into English. And they need actors." That sounds fun. I didn't even know they paid you for it. It didn't even matter. It just sounded fun, right? As an actor, you get a chance to act, right? You take it. So I did it, and I thought it was just a one-time thing. And then AD got another show, and they asked me to do that one, and then another one, and another one, and another one. And the next thing you know, I had done 15 or 20 different anime shows with ADV, and then suddenly I got invited to an anime convention. I didn't even know they had those. I was like, "This is awesome! They're anime conventions, like Star Trek conventions." So I went, and I was blown away. People coming up with wall scrolls of characters that I played, and plushies. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's the guy I played!" I didn't even know it existed. And meanwhile, anime's growing. And then I go to a convention and I meet someone from Funimation in Dallas, 4 hours north of Houston. And they say, "Hey Vic, you want to come up and play a role in Dragon Ball Z?" I'm like, "Dragon Ball what?" Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, "Sure, okay." So I moseyed up to Dallas and I played Broly, and then the next thing you know, I'm still working in Houston at ADV, but now I'm doing a Yu Yu Hakusho, Case Closed, right? All this stuff for Funimation. And anime is growing, and it's growing. I get invited to more conventions. And then I meet people from Los Angeles at a convention, and they're like, "Hey, you should come out to LA and do some voice work." I'm like, "Okay." And I moseyed out to LA, and Vampire Night, Bleach, Naruto. And then I met people from New York, and they're like, "Dude, you should come to New York." And so okay. And I was in New York, and I was in John Robo, and then Pokemon. Right? So do you understand why I give credit where I give credit? I didn't plan this. I never had any clue that this would happen. What I can tell you is I trained in acting, and I got a lot of experience in acting. Taking any opportunity, church plays, school productions, community theater, anything and everything to develop those skills. And then when the opportunity dropped in front of me and the door opened, and I just kind of haphazardly walked through, not having any idea what was on the other side, I already had developed all the skills necessary to do the job. So for those of you interested in voice acting, I would say the first thing is get experience acting. That's the most important thing. It's cool that you can imitate different characters that you hear on television, but you're probably not going to get cast to play that character. They already got somebody doing that. I mean, I do a mean Yoda, but Tom Kane is Yoda in Clone Wars, and I ain't likely to play Yoda. You know what I mean? So it's not about mimicking voices or imitating characters you like. It's about playing a role and acting the character and being able to communicate the emotions of that character. Sure, maybe you can talk, fine, but what happens when the character is getting his arms ripped off? Can you sound like your arms are being ripped off? It may be harder than you think. What if you just watched your mother die right in front of you? Or your brother disappear, or get decomposed, right? How do you communicate that? Through your voice. What does that sound like? And so it's about acting. And then the second thing is you have to live where the work is. You have to be where that kind of work is done, you know? I've said this before, if you've seen videos online, you know what you're about to hear, but if I wanted to be a country western singer, I'd move to Nashville. That's the main hub of where that kind of work is done. There are certain places in the country where certain kinds of work is more prevalent than in other cities. For voice acting, it would be Los Angeles, a little bit Houston, Dallas, Vancouver, Canada, New York. And that's really predominantly the main cities where that kind of work is done. But those are the two things, is acting experience and being in the place where that kind of work happens. And I was like, oh, sweet. That's like really a big compliment because, he doesn't typically sound like I sound when I talk. But the goal is not to change your voice. The goal is to play the character.
We only have time for about 2 quick questions. So.
See, that's why you have to come back tomorrow. Because we always run out of time. We always run out.
Hi. I was just wondering, since you actually played these characters, Edward and Tamaki, which one do you think would win in a logical argument between each other?
Well, you probably picked the 2 most illogical characters I've ever made.
Exactly.
Wow. You know what would happen? I'll tell you what would happen. They would start trying to have a battle of wigs. And Ed would get frustrated and call Al over to help. Tamaki would get frustrated and call Keldio over. That's so funny. But if I had to pick a winner, I would probably pick Tamaki. I think Ed's a little too hot-headed. I think he's a little too shoot from the hip, kind of, let her rip, and then, who cares what, about consequences. Well, right, exactly. So do we have time for another one?
One more question.
Hey! Hi, guys. I'm glad. I love her portal shirt. Don't you love her portal shirt?
I was watching a super obscure anime, and my friend introduced me to it. She'd never watched the English dub version, and I was watching it, and I'm like, that's Vic's voice, it's Vic's voice, and she ran into the other room, and so I just wanted to know if you remember playing Origami Cyclone and Tiger and Bunny.
Oh my God!
Well, because she was like, no, it's Vic, and I'm like, really? And I ran into the other room, I'm like, I heard over and over
What's funny is, there was another character that I played in Tiger and Bunny. He was like a bad guy. He was the larger role, but the Origami Cyclone.
Well, they said on the IMDb, so we're like, look,
really? I'll have to add that. I have no idea what's up there and what's not up there, but I love it. I also get a special thrill when people remind me of shows that I did that I didn't think anyone ever saw. There are like 8 or 10 shows that I've done before that became really popular and they're on television and everything, but then there are like 200 other shows that I loved, but they went straight to DVD, and unless you're like a hardcore anime fan who is always looking for new obscure things, you wouldn't even know they exist. But I love that, and I appreciate you mentioning it. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Are we done?
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have, but we have tomorrow.
Yes, so here's the plan, guys. I'm going to go downstairs to my table, and I'd love for you to come down and say hello, and let me sign some stuff, and take pictures and stuff. And don't forget, tonight, 6 p.m., room 120, Star Trek continues. I love you guys. Thanks for coming.